Today I'm going to show you 10 US beach towns you've probably never heard of. These aren't the overcrowded tourist traps like Miami or Myrtle Beach. We're talking hidden gems where you can actually find parking, breathe, and maybe even live cheap. From pirate hideouts in North Carolina to millionaire hideaways in California, these are the secret beach towns locals love and outsiders overlook. Let's dive in. If you want hidden, Ocracoke Island might be as hidden as it gets. Tucked away in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, this little island has a year-round population of under 800 people and no bridge. That's right, you'll need to hop on a ferry just to get here, which keeps the casual crowds away. Ocracoke's history is wild. Back in the 1700s, it was a pirate hotspot, and this is where the infamous Blackbeard himself met his end in 1718. Today, the vibe couldn't be more different. Instead of cutthroat sailors, you'll find laid-back locals, fishermen, and visitors who prefer peace and quiet over spring break chaos. The beaches here are long, wide, and blissfully uncrowded. People come for fishing, kayaking, and hiking, but the pace is slow, exactly what you want from a beach town most people overlook. The average year-round temperature is about 57 degrees Fahrenheit, so you won't get tropical weather, but it's perfect for people who like mild summers and crisp winters. Now for the kicker, homes here aren't cheap. Expect to pay at least $450,000 if you want a piece of this island life. Secluded, historic, and scenic, Ocracoke is truly a hidden gem. Edisto Beach, South Carolina. If you're hunting for a laid-back beach town that feels untouched, Edisto Beach should be on your radar. Tucked between Charleston and Hilton Head, this little slice of South Carolina's lowcountry is the opposite of a tourist trap. With only about 1,400 year-round residents, it's more small-town charm than spring break chaos. Edisto is known for exactly what you'd hope: long stretches of quiet sand, marsh views, and a slower pace that practically forces you to relax. It's also surrounded by history. The area was first settled in the 1600s, later becoming a plantation hub for rice and indigo. Today, you can visit Edisto Beach State Park or explore nearby cultural landmarks like the Penn Center on St. Helena Island. The best part? It still feels authentic. No neon boardwalk, no wall-to-wall crowds, just fishing, boating, biking, and a few local restaurants that keep things simple. The average year-round temperature is a warm 67 degrees Fahrenheit, making it comfortable almost any time of year. Now here's the catch. If you fall in love and want to move here, real estate is scarce. When homes do hit the market, expect starting prices around $700,000 and climbing well into the millions. Quiet Paradise doesn't come cheap. Provincetown, Massachusetts. At the very tip of Cape Cod, Provincetown, or P-Town as locals call it, feels like a world of its own. This seaside community of about 3,500 residents has history, culture, and a vibe that's nothing like the chaotic beaches you find in Boston or Rhode Island. Provincetown sits on the exact spot where the Mayflower landed in 1620, marked today by the 252-foot Pilgrim Monument. Early on, it thrived as a fishing and whaling hub. But by the 20th century, it had reinvented itself as a haven for artists, writers, and eventually the LGBTQ+ community. That open, creative energy still defines Provincetown today. You'll find galleries, live performances, quirky shops, and some of the most colorful street life in New England. But let's not forget the beach. Provincetown has endless stretches of sand and water, framed by classic Cape Cod dunes. The average yearly temperature is a brisk 52 degrees Fahrenheit, not exactly tropical, but perfect if you like cool summers and cozy winters. The price of living in paradise? High. Homes rarely list under $1.5 million, and some climb past $6 million. It's exclusive, historic, and unapologetically unique. Provincetown isn't just a beach town, it's a lifestyle. Cape May, New Jersey. Cape May is proof that not all Jersey Shore towns are loud, chaotic boardwalks. Sitting at the southern tip of New Jersey, this historic seaside community of about 4,000 residents is known for two things: pristine beaches and its jaw-dropping Victorian architecture. Picture colorful gingerbread houses lining quiet streets, more bed and breakfast charm than casino neon. Unlike its rowdy neighbor Atlantic City, just 40 miles up the coast, Cape May keeps it classy. The beaches are clean and calm, and the town has an almost old-world feel. Perfect for anyone looking to escape the crowds of Wildwood or Ocean City. Even better, the average year-round temperature sits at a mild 52 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it livable far beyond summer. Real estate here? Not cheap, but not Malibu crazy either. A house near the beach will run you around $1.2 million and can climb toward $4 million for prime spots. Head a little inland, though, and you'll still find homes in the $450,000 to $500,000 range. That's as close to affordable as it gets in a place this desirable. Cape May combines small-town charm, coastal beauty, and rich history, making it one of the most underrated beach escapes on the East Coast. Destin, Florida. Destin may not be a secret to Floridians, but compared to Miami or Orlando, it still feels like a hidden gem. Sitting on Florida's Emerald Coast, this beach town of about 12,000 residents is famous for sugar white sand and some of the clearest water you'll ever see in the U.S. The Gulf of Mexico here looks like it belongs in the Caribbean, bright turquoise, calm, and perfect for swimming almost year-round. With an average temperature of 75 degrees Fahrenheit, beach season lasts about 9 months. Destin started out as a small fishing village, and even today, it calls itself the world's luckiest fishing village. Between the seafood restaurants, local charter boats, golf courses, and spas, you'll never run out of ways to spend a day. Unlike overcrowded spots like Panama City Beach, Destin still strikes a balance between tourist energy and small-town comfort. Now about real estate. If you're just a few blocks off the beach, homes can still be found around $440,000 to $500,000. But right on the sand, prices jump into the millions, with luxury listings topping $4.8 million. Still, compared to Miami Beach, it's practically a bargain. Destin offers small-town charm, world-class beaches, and surprisingly reasonable access to Florida's coast. Manzanita, Oregon. If you're looking for a coastal town that's quiet, scenic, and just a little quirky, Manzanita, Oregon is your spot. With barely 600 year-round residents, it feels more like a village than a tourist destination, and that's exactly the point. Located about 90 miles west of Portland, Manzanita offers stunning ocean views without the Portland chaos bleeding in. The beach here stretches wide and open, framed by dramatic Oregon cliffs and evergreen trees. It's the kind of place where you'll see families flying kites, artists sketching on the sand, and maybe a few kayaks out in the waves. Sure, summer brings some extra visitors, but it never hits the madhouse levels of nearby Cannon Beach or Seaside. Manzanita was founded in 1850 by settlers from the Midwest and officially took its current name in 1890 after the manzanita trees common to the area. Today, the town leans into its artsy vibe with galleries, small shops, and cozy restaurants. Outdoor lovers flock here for hiking, fishing, and kayaking, while others just soak up the laid-back atmosphere. The average yearly temperature hovers around 53 degrees Fahrenheit, so expect cool summers and misty winters. Manzanita is proof that small, quiet, and beautiful can beat loud and crowded any day. Friday Harbor, Washington. Tucked away in the San Juan Islands, about 100 miles north of Seattle, Friday Harbor feels like a coastal town frozen in time. With only about 2,200 residents, it's small, but it's also the cultural and economic hub of San Juan Island. You won't find boardwalk chaos or neon tourist traps here, just a walkable downtown with galleries, cafes, and waterfront views that look straight out of a postcard. Friday Harbor's history goes back to 1850, when it was settled by the Hudson Bay Company as a fishing and logging outpost. By the early 20th century, it had already attracted artists and writers who gave the town its creative streak. That's still true today with museums, studios, and a thriving art scene. Getting here takes effort. Most visitors arrive by ferry, though there is a small airstrip if you prefer to skip the water. That little bit of isolation is what keeps the vibe so relaxed. Average year-round temperature? A mild 52 degrees Fahrenheit, which means cool summers and winters that never get brutal. Real estate isn't exactly cheap, Homes in town start around $400,000, while sprawling coastal properties easily climb into the multi-million range. Peace, beauty, and seclusion come with a price. Block Island, Rhode Island. If Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket feel too crowded and too expensive, Block Island is the quieter alternative you've probably never thought about. Sitting about 30 miles off the Rhode Island coast, this island of roughly 1,000 year-round residents is only accessible by ferry or small plane, which keeps the vibe calm and secluded. Block Island has a long history, first settled by the English in the 1660s and later thriving as a fishing and whaling center. By the 19th century, it became a summer getaway, but it's still overshadowed by its more famous neighbors. That's not a bad thing. It means less noise, less traffic, and more space to enjoy the island's pristine beaches, lighthouses, and small-town charm. The community here leans outdoorsy and artsy. You'll find birdwatchers, hikers, and a surprisingly active art scene tucked between the historic Old Harbor Light and Southeast Lighthouse. And with average yearly temperatures around 54 degrees Fahrenheit, the island is cool but comfortable for most of the year. Buying a home here? Be ready to spend. Listings start at about $1.3 million, and the properties are stunning. It's not a budget-friendly escape, but for those who can afford it, Block Island offers seclusion, history, and timeless New England beauty. Sanibel Island, Florida. Just off the coast from Fort Myers, Sanibel Island is the kind of place that feels more like a secret than a tourist trap. While the rest of Southwest Florida can get crowded, Sanibel stays relatively calm, thanks to its 15-mile stretch of beaches and a community that values peace over party. With about 6,600 year-round residents, it's small, laid back, and tailor-made for anyone who prefers seashell hunting to spring break chaos. Sanibel's history goes back to the 1500s when it was first settled by the Spanish, and by the 19th century, it was known as a winter retreat. Today, it's famous for its pristine coastline, bike paths, and protected nature preserves that cover a large part of the island. If you're into fishing, kayaking, or just lounging in turquoise water, this place has it all, minus the wall-to-wall tourists. The average yearly temperature is a warm 75 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning beach days last nearly all year. But paradise comes at a price. Homes here start around $500,000 for the smallest cottages and quickly rise into the multi-million-dollar range for beachfront estates. Sanibel isn't loud, flashy, or overcrowded. It's simply one of Florida's best-kept coastal secrets. Morro Bay, California. If you want a California beach town without Hollywood glitz or Silicon Valley price tags, Morro Bay should be on your list. Located halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco on the Central Coast, this fishing village of about 10,500 residents is famous for one thing: Morro Rock. This massive volcanic plug towers over the shoreline and gives the whole town a postcard backdrop. Unlike crowded beaches in SoCal, Morro Bay moves at its own pace. The waterfront is lined with seafood shacks, small shops, and working fishing boats, not high-rise hotels. Outdoor lovers can kayak around the harbor, hike in nearby state parks, or just stroll the boardwalk watching sea otters play. The average temperature here is a mild 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which means no sweltering summers or freezing winters, just comfortable weather year-round. And while it's still California, real estate isn't as brutal as Malibu. Homes start in the $700,000 to $800,000 range, with some inland properties dipping lower. Morro Bay is that rare California beach town where you can still breathe, a place that feels authentic, scenic, and low-key, without the tourist overload.